This week on Steel Horse Thunder, you find out somebody's down on their luck. Hey, we need to help this person, and everybody comes together. We had our destination set, but in the true biker spirit, we were ready to change at the last moment.
And we're hosting the second annual John J.J. Mitchell ride.
Gonna make a lot of kids happy at Christmas time this year.
Temperatures are dropping. The riding season's about to come to an end.
Well, we're giving our toys, and Flat Stanley's giving this cool Hot Wheels toy. I'm giving the Navy SEALs, and Scott is giving the Dream Girls biker.
Hey!
All that and much more this week on Steel Horse Thunder. All right, a lot of you Facebook fans out there have heard of Flat Stanley. This is Flat Stanley. This is our grandson, Warren. Now, his project is to send Stanley out with some people so he can learn about the world. Cindy and I thought, what better way to learn about the world than to send them with a couple bikers so they can see what the motorcycle community does for their local community. And that's what we're going to do with Stanley. We're going to find out what it's like when it's people given to people. Hey, we're on our way up to Greencastle to Krambos for the toy run. But you know, we found out about a little ride going on here in Martinsville, Indiana, and we just wanted to come by and find out a little bit about it on our way. I found Caleb here. Caleb, tell me a little bit about what's going on today.
Well, some buddies of mine, we met a guy named Ray. He's been living in his van over at Rural King parking lot, and he's a Navy vet. We all just kind of started hanging out with him and talking with him. And one of the buddies realized I was in a band, split rail, and maybe we could do something good for the guy. So we decided to put on this benefit and try to raise some money for him. The whole community stepped up and really wanted to help and be a part of it. And looks like it's going to come together and be something really good.
We're putting on a ride for Ray. He's a disabled Navy vet, down on his luck, a homeless. The community's coming together. We're wanting to get stuff going for him, get him back on his feet. We're basically doing the bike ride. We're gonna go out through Brown County, Morgan County, just putting everything on for him. I mean, none of this is for us. Everything here is for Ray.
It's a little cold out today, but can you tell me, this is a good cause. Can you tell me what brought you out today?
Well, just that. It's a good cause. The guy's, he's living in his van, and that's not a good thing, and especially with winter coming on. My daughter she's involved with the bake sale on it, and so we just do what we can.
Well, I think it's really cool because, when you find somebody that's down on their luck like this, that you guys would come and get together like this at such a short notice. I mean, you guys haven't had a whole lot of time to put this together, correct?
No, we've only been doing this, getting this ready maybe a month and a half.
To Krambos, and we saw this ride going on, so now we're going to find out what this is going on. Where are we at?
Right now we're in Greencastle. I've been following people. Greencastle, and we're hosting the second annual John J.J. Mitchell ride that benefits the VFW, the American Legion, and Monroe Township Fire District in Monrovia.
And you guys have a lot of bikes out here today, and it's pretty cold out.
That's a dedication that our community has to this ride. J.J. Mitchell was one of the founding members of the Monroe Township Fire Department. He passed away last year, shortly before the first annual ride, and this is a way we've taken to honor him.
How did you guys get so many people to show up for this ride?
J.J. Mitchell was one of our founding members in the 70s. Him and a couple of guys took out their own money and bought the first tools that we used to cut cars open. Yeah, he was a big leader in the community, and everybody loved him. He passed away unexpectedly last year, so it became the JJ Ride.
So did the fire department almost shut down, though, because of funds?
At one point we came close, but I mean, that's what volunteer departments do. They sacrifice and they pull forward, so.
You guys do, and it is. I mean, the fire department goes out whenever there's a fire, and they don't make money for that. It's all volunteer, and that's pretty amazing.
Yes, ma'am. The people that we work with are amazing.
Hey, we're up here at Greek Castle. We are doing the Toys for Tots run they do up here every year. A little chilly out today, but you know what? We wanted to bring our toys with us. So we got our toys, one from me, one from Cindy, and yes, even one from Flat Stanley.
And have you got a lot of toys today?
Beth says we have we've got a lot in the back of the truck here, and then we've got a lot inside, and she's got a lot. Her and Chris have a lot at the shop, so I believe people have been very generous this year. We really appreciate it. Going to make a lot of kids happy at Christmas time this year.
All right, so I understand this toy run is for the Fraternal Order of Police. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
As a Putnam County FOP, every year, right around Christmas time, we get a list of underprivileged children in need, may not get Christmas time pleasures as well as the other kids do. So we try and get donated toys, things of that nature, and then we box all those up, and then we take them to the different families and the kids around the community. We have Santa Claus riding a police car. We'll pull up in the driveway with the lights and siren going. Santa Claus will get out and deliver the toys to the kids. They get a kick out of it.
And that's the thing, is you have a lot to offer motorcycle riders, because, you know, when we go out riding, we don't want to go into the big cities. You know, we like to get out of the big city and get into the countryside. And, you know, with the covered bridges, you guys kind of have a cool thing with all that.
Yes, we have 9 in our county, and the county next to us has 31, which makes up for over half of what the state of Indiana has. So we have a lot of restaurants here on the square, and we've developed our first motorcycle brochure. So anybody can give us a call or pick those up. And we have a covered bridge lunch and dinner that we also do for motorcycle groups as well as other groups. So we do offer a lot for a small town.
So this goes on, I mean, this is a yearly event that you guys do, and do the motorcyclists get involved all the time?
Yes, so we've seen the motorcyclists. They come out and they like to help us out with the obtaining of the toys and the deliverance of the toys and whatnot. It's just a fun thing for everybody to get involved with.
That's really cool. I thought it was cool to have Santa Claus out here in a fire truck. I understand there were some firemen here to cook dinner.
Yeah, they were cooking dinner. I saw a couple sitting in a recliner earlier. They were hanging out, drinking some coffee. They had a Dalmatian they were chasing around too. That was kind of cool. But for the most part, yeah, they were here to help out. And we like to have fun with the firemen, and they like to have fun with us as well. So, yeah.
Well, Flat Stanley got a chance to meet a lot of bikers today. He got to help a homeless vet in Martinsville. He got to come up to Green Castle to help with the Toys for Tots with some less fortunate children. So I personally want to say thank you, bikers. What better way to show young children in school what it's like when people are helping other people? All right, Julie, I'm assuming you ride better than you spell.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now that we got that out of the way. Saw you ride in, you got a beautiful bike. It's actually in the bike show tonight, and you're riding it, a woman rider. How long have you been riding?
This is my 4th season.
So is this your first bike?
It is, actually, yes.
You started on a V-Rod.
Started on a V-Rod. My husband gave me a whole lot of grief about it, but...
Well, a V-Rod's kind of a big bike to start on. Most people start on something a little smaller, so I think it's kind of cool that you did the V-Rod.
Well, thank you. I went out looking, and I thought I knew I didn't want a Sportster. I wanted something bigger. And I went out and set it on, I don't know, probably 25 different bikes and different kinds, and found this one and did a little bit of research on it. And a lot of people said V-Rod's a great bike for a first-time woman rider, so.
Well, goes to show what I know, huh? Because I think they're pretty nice bikes. They're pretty quick. I mean,
They are.
I've rode them. I like them. So what kind of riding do you like to do?
We just generally do bar hopping. We go from bar to bar. We stay here in town. Not a lot of interstate, just the little side streets and main roads.
Now, do you get out to do some of the charity runs on the weekends?
We do. I'm actually part of the American Legion Riders over here off the Post Road. So we do a lot of the rides for charities, and we have 6 signature rides that come out of there. So.
Isn't it cool to be able to take something that you love to do, like ride a motorcycle, and then combine it with charity work, and you're doing a great thing, but you're having a blast doing it? Isn't that about the best that there can be?
It actually is, yes. Very, very much so. I mean, we do a lot for the community and just the little neighborhoods around our posts where we're at. So
what was it that actually made you decide to start riding your own motorcycle?
Well, I've always told my husband if he came home with one, he better come home with 2. So
He came home with one, didn't
he came home with one, and I went out and got my own. So I told him I was tired of being a passenger and I was going to start being the driver.
Very good. I like that. I like that a lot. So any kind of bucket list? Do you have any kind of plans of somewhere you'd really like to go on the bike before your time has come, which will be a long, long time from now?
We're actually going to go to Panama City, Florida, comes the spring rally, and it'll be the first year that I actually take the bike down, so I'm looking forward to that.
You're not wasting any time. You're not taking any chances. You're going to go ahead and start fulfilling the bucket list now.
Yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
That's good. All right. Well, I thank you very much for talking to us. I know the bike show is going to get start off here pretty soon, so I'm going to let you go.
All right, thank you.
Hey, we had an idea. Since we're closing out the season now, we thought, why don't we take a look back? Now, we looked over all the emails that we got and everything else, and it turns out there was one episode or one segment that got a lot more attention than the others. So why don't we take a look at that right now? I know this weekend a lot of bikes are heading down to Washington, D.C. for the Run to the Wall. It's a great cause. There's going to be about 1 million motorcycles there. But Cindy and I have our own personal journey that we like to take on Memorial Weekend. Cindy, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, 7 years ago, on Memorial Day weekend, we lost our son to suicide. So every year on Memorial Day weekend, we try to go out to his graveside.
We're going to head out to St. Louis. He's buried out there in Fairview Heights, and it's a tough ride. It's emotional, but it's a journey that we need to take every year. And we thought this year we would invite you to come along and take the journey with us. Eric was one of those kids, had a great imagination when he was younger. You know, me and his mom were divorced shortly after he was born. Cindy and I got together. He was only 2 years old. So Eric, growing up, all he ever knew was his mom, and he knew Scott and, you know, Dad and Cindy. And so this is who he's known, you know, knew all his life, and that was just his life. He struggled dearly with not having Dad at home. You know, I hated that part of it. Unfortunately, the way things worked out, that wasn't possible.
As far as the love, my love for him was no different than my own kids. I loved him just as much as I loved my own kids. I always felt like he was mine. Eric was always trying to be funny. He loved his cowboy hat. He loved his dog, Sparkly. He loved music and karaoke.
And then as he started getting older, he was all about the Army. He was in ROTC when he got into high school, and he stayed in ROTC all the way up until the point when he graduated. You know, that was his ambition, was to get into the Army. You know, the cool thing about being part of the motorcycle community is you have brothers and sisters everywhere you look. For example, we simply stop at a gas station and we have a bunch of brothers and sisters from CMA come over and want to bless our bikes before we take our long journey. Amen. Thank you very much. I need a hug.
Not too bad.
Okay.
On the motorcycle, you know, we're both on our own bikes. We don't get a chance to talk to each other. And it just gives you a chance to kind of unwind and kind of lose my mind a little bit, if that makes any sense. To the fact that I can just think about everything. You know, if we're in the car, we're just talking strictly about Eric and about everything. Whereas on the bike, I can kind of lose it a little bit. We're not on the interstate. We're on back roads. We take time to stop at, you know, a local place to eat lunch. And it just kind of breaks everything up, and you know, for me actually, it kind of helps. It's kind of my medicine.
For me, it's always it's just a release. I feel like that it helps me to be able to ride out and kind of clear my mind before I get there, because it is very emotional for me. So for me, it's good to be able to just ride out, think about all the good times we had with Eric.
You know, the best thing about taking a trip on a bike is you stay off the highways. So here we are on the back roads coming through. We're about halfway between Indianapolis and St. Louis, and nothing better than to find an old mom and pop, a small little diner, something to go get a bite to eat at. Anybody can go to McDonald's or Burger King, but not everybody gets to the, and I don't know how you say it. Do you say hog and dog, or do you say hog and dog? I'm not sure.
Hog.
Hog and dog, and that's what we're gonna go find out just how good it is. Hey, not only is the eating good here, but they got some pretty people around this place too. It's well worth stopping here. So, what kind of food do you guys have?
We have barbecue, and we have ribs, and we have sides. We have homemade mashed potatoes, gravy, macaroni and cheese.
I know you got brisket, because I got my eye on the brisket.
We make our own mac salad and potato salad, coleslaw. It's really good. The coleslaw's pretty famous. It's good.
So now, I understand a lot of the truck drivers like to come out here?
Yeah, truck drivers are here about every day for a couple hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have a funny feeling, I know a lot of truck drivers, and I have a funny feeling why they're here, but you know what? The food's gotta be good to keep them coming back.
Awesome. It's amazing. The best barbecue in town. Best barbecue in this county.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
And I understand it's the cleanest restaurant around too, isn't it?
It sure is.
Well, and we appreciate you guys comping our meal for us today and everything else. That was awesome. Just kidding, we pay full price, just like everybody else. Well, I know you ladies got to get back into work, so we're going to let you go, but thanks for letting us stop here and share a part of our story with you and some of your story with us.
Well, thank you, and we hope you come back.
When I saw a Poplar Bluff area code, I saw that 573 area code, I knew it was him, and I instantly knew the result.
It was devastating for all of us, but I think you play all those roles. As a stepmom, you're trying to support your husband, support your kids. You're trying to understand the situation, and it was difficult.
Both of us felt very isolated. That's the worst part about suicide.
It was lonely, and people just kind of left us. I don't know, we were just all left alone.
There's nothing worse than coming home from being gone 4 days, doing a funeral for your son. You come home and none of your friends are around anymore. People don't come by anymore. Your pastor didn't even mention it to the church because he didn't want to say anything about suicide. So nobody in church even knows it happened. And the ones that do know have a tendency to avoid you because it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about.
Motorcycles is a big role in this. We basically went on with life for a few months until we got to a point where we couldn't handle it anymore. We decided to get on the bikes and take off, and didn't really know where we were going to go, but ended up going out to West Virginia and rode for 3 days. Really didn't talk to each other except for at night, but that was our getaway. That's what helped us get through it, was to just be able to be on the bikes and just let everything go, and it helped tremendously. I don't know what I would have done without my bike at that time.
Getting on the bike and being able to ride, it clears my head. I can lose myself in the scenery around me. You know, when you're on a bike, it's, the old saying, 4 wheels moves the body, 2 wheels moves the soul. And that's very true. It's, you smell everything, you hear everything.
It seems to, the closer you get to the gravesite, the harder it gets, the more emotional you get. So it's still a great ride, and I'd rather be on the bikes than in a car.
I had the privilege of the last year before he grew up and got married and everything else, his last year with us. For the summertime, he came out and I was able to bring him to work with me at the sawmill. It was probably the first time I realized Eric was growing up and was becoming a man. And I was able to work with him for a few weeks, you know, and take lunch together, and instead of just being the dad that had to keep telling him what he was supposed to be doing and trying to teach him all the right things and stuff, I had a chance to be his buddy. We had a chance to be friends. You know, obviously that's something I'll never, ever, ever forget.
So when Heather got pregnant with her first child, they gave her the due date of May 2nd, and most women don't go on their due date, so we didn't expect for her to go on her due date. And sure enough, she did. And so our grandson and Eric share the same birthday, May 2nd.
So yeah, this year it's a little doubly sad. Looking at May 27th, and I realize it'll be 7 years since Eric passed, but I also realize May 27th, it'll make 1 year since Steve Reeves passed. And I'm kind of glad it went that way. You know, this day already sucks.
That's going to do it for us this week on Still Horse Thunder. In fact, I think it's going to do it for us for the season.
The season is over, but don't forget to follow us on Facebook because we'll be doing our holiday episodes just like we did last year. And remember, it's not what you ride.
It's that you ride.
That much?
Because we have our winter episodes. So everybody like us on Facebook.
And we found some better person or better thing to better. It's gotta be better. It's gotta be better. What's your last name?
Spurgeon.
Spurgeon. What kind of stupid last name is that?
Okay, Tammy, Tammy, Wampner.
So your dad was the judge on TV?
Yeah, no. Souvenir from my divorce.